Hello and welcome to another video. Today we are doing a quick install on my 1997 240SX S14, and we are actually installing some quality parts this time. On YouTube you'll see a lot of videos with the NRG steering wheel hubs or some Boss inexpensive Amazon or eBay steering wheel hubs. Not that I'm bashing on those. I have ran a lot of NRG steering wheel hubs and they work fine. A little bit more modification to get them to work with the horn, and sometimes I don't even see people delete the SRS airbag light. They just take out the bulb from the cluster. I do not want to do that, and so in this video I'm going to show you guys how to do it the right way, where you don't have to just take the bulb out of the gauge cluster. But yeah, let's dive right into it. So as you can see, I do have the stock steering wheel still installed and has the airbag on there. On the S14, the 95, 96 Zenki models, you'll see this kind of like crease and stuff, and then they fixed it on the 97, 98s, I believe. So it does look nice, so I will keep this. The steering wheel, this car actually had 120,000 original miles, and that is why the interior is so darn clean. But yeah, we don't obviously see these anymore, and you can't necessarily buy them brand new, so I will be holding on to this just in case. This right here is the wheel that I will be installing. They've had this for quite some time now. I actually ran this on my last drift car, my S13 RB. I kept it, so now she's going in here. So let's actually see what comes in the WorkSpell package here. Obviously I'm not going to be able to read this. Google Translate those, really cool, and you can just, that's what I did to kind of read what it says on here. Let me save the actual hub for last here. Okay, so inside you'll have your steering wheel hub ring for the horn, so that way it's nice and snug when you put the horn button on there. You'll also get a bunch of the instructions, almost like a registration card, and of course the instructions, which unfortunately nothing is in English. I've already went through it, so yeah, Google Translate, where you can actually put the script and it will convert it to English or whatever preferred language. But I've done this before, so I don't think I'll really need to do that. Oops. Oh look, this is in English right here. So this is just giving you the torque spec. And then another, so these are the resistors, and I think what it's saying is that there's 3 types of plugs that you may use, and obviously depending on your application, you'll use one of these for the SRS delete. And they are right here. So you'll see this one's for the horn button, and these are the resistor types here, I believe. Oh no, this is also for horn button, depending on which car you'll be putting it in. And these right here are also, these are the resistors, so that you can get that SRS delete. It looks like one of the applications you'll be using for the horn and the actual SRS delete too. I know on our model for the S14, this is what we're going to be using, and then on one of the plugs, this is what's going to get the horn to work. So last but not least, besides the actual hub itself, you have the lock nut for your steering wheel hub assembly, and also it came with some, I believe, yeah, these are bolts for your steering wheel too, which I will most likely run those for now. Now to the actual hub itself. So you'll actually notice this is what a lot of the eBay or inexpensive like Amazon hubs, like the Boss hubs or the Momo, like the fake Momos, a lot of them will be modeled off of the genuine hubs like these. Right off the bat, you'll notice the actual material is a lot cleaner. The casting is very clean and precise. The feel of it, everything is just, you know, obviously that's what you get when you pay a little bit more. And right in the back, you'll notice this is what you'll need for S14. On a lot of the energy hubs, they'll have the S13 or S14, and they'll have the prong sticking out, and then you have to cut those or take those out. On this model for the Works Bell, it is already pre-made specifically for the S14, or I think it was the Z32. So this is what gets the churn signal cancels, the switch cancel. So this is what will make it so that you don't have to manually cancel out your signal. So, all right, let's get this in the car. All right, so first things first, we need to disconnect the battery, and I have mine relocated to the trunk, so we'll go ahead and disconnect this. All right, so now that the battery is unplugged, I like to wait a little bit longer and also press the brake a couple times just to make sure we've drained all power to the car, because obviously we're dealing with a steering wheel, and the last thing we want is this to blow up in your face. So safety first. We'll also want to make sure before you get everything set up that the steering wheel is straight, and then we will go ahead and take the plastics off now. So I've already loosened all the screws. They are Phillips screws, and there's, I think, here, let me pull this off here. So the top will come off from it, and then you will have your little bezel for the ignition, and then this you will want to slide off of the ignition and out like that. And just so you guys can see the bottom, you'll have two Phillips right directly below, and then 4 surrounding the actual shroud here. So on the side, you will notice this is the airbag harness. So what I'm gonna do, if you look, there's a little marking there for a push. We're gonna push that to unplug this guy. So when we're working on this, rule of thumb, even though everything is already unplugged, just try not to work in the way of this airbag. So if you notice, I am off to the side. So worst case scenario, if something were to happen, for some crazy reason there was still some power or some juice in this thing, if this were to go off, you do not want to be in that general direction. So we will unplug this here now. All right, so on the clock spring harness right here, which also powers your airbag, there will be a push button on this one where it says push, and also another button on the other side. So you'll press both sides, and you should be able to, just like that. All right, so the next step will be removing these side plates on both sides of the steering wheel, and that will expose the 2 T55 Torx bits to remove the whole airbag assembly. We're going to take a flathead, remove this panel right here on the side of the steering wheel, and if you look, it will expose the security T50 Torx bit. Alright, so first thing I'm going to try to do is see if I can put a center punch on this, because it's just so darn small. If my center punch would work. Alright, so I'm back with another center punch. Let's see if this one works. Alright, there we go. I guess it's a one-time thing, what the heck. Alright, well, I got somewhat of a punch on there. That's what I was afraid of. This is very tiny, so oh shoot, I just broke my bit. Alright, I'm gonna try this tree bit so that way I don't break it. Yep, that's working better. So I'm using a tree bit just because it's less likely to break than an actual normal bit. I'm just making sure I'm not hitting the edge here. I'm definitely hitting the edge. But you know what? I think we're getting there. Oh yeah, I think it is. Okay, let me get up. Yep. That was just enough. So, on the other side, I'm definitely gonna just use my, I'm gonna go find my security one so I don't have to do all that again. But, just so you guys see. Alright. So yeah, I went about halfway. And so you can definitely drill it out. Alright, let's get the other side out. And I just turned the steering wheel upside down so that way I can do it from out here instead of having to do it on that side as well. So, alright, let's do the same thing with this and get that drilled out. That has to be it. Yep, that's it. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so this should come out here. Cool. So that's done. Now we can unplug it from here. So this guy right here. I'm gonna unplug this, get off to the side, and there we go. We got our airbag. So I'm gonna grab, I believe that looks like a 19, and then we'll do a nice shimmy to get this off. So I like to leave it on just a little bit. Oops, that fell. And I also like to, let me get a pen. Sometimes when you do this, you get lost and don't know where up is anymore, so I like to mark it. On which way is up. Yep, there we go. So now we can drums, and there you go. That's already off. So we're gonna go ahead and so make sure you keep in mind. So if you know you saw that technique, that is a very, oh, here we go. That is a very darn it. Let's just move this from here. And that way, what was I saying? So that is a very secret technique of removing these things. Is the fast drum roll technique. All right, there we go. Steering wheel is off. All right, so what's really cool on the Boss Hub is that you actually utilize the clock spring still, so that way these guys will be plug and play, and I'll kind of show you that, and then you will be ending up plugging this back in. So obviously the one that we're not going to be using is the airbag one, but this guy we will be using, and I'll show you that here in a sec. But if you notice too, there are corresponding spots. Alright, so before I put this together, you'll notice the hole for the wiring to go through on that side, and then dowel matches at the bottom here. And then that way we can get this situated, and then we can actually made up with the the switch cancel right there. So, all right, guys. So, little tip here: you can remove the shroud, and that way you can actually see. If you look, this is where the little dowel goes through, and then you can see how the wiring has enough space right here. And then you just pull this through. And if you look, my marking with the top matches. So now we're ready to tighten this down. So on this, I will be using their provided hardware. If you look, it's a heavy duty lock ring and nut. So we'll put that on first, and then this is kind of hard to do, but there we go. So if you look, that's in there. So I'm going to tighten that down nice and snug, and then we'll move on to the wiring, and then we're pretty much ready to go. That's awesome. And obviously at the end we'll plug this guy in. Alright, so I put my steering wheel on for now. Just temporarily, I just put a couple bolts, because you do want to make sure before you finalize everything and put everything together that your turn signal cancel works. So, yep. So if you notice, you got the left on, you'll hear the click, and then that will bring it back. Other side, you'll hear that click, and there you go. Okay, so now that we know that the cancel works, we can take the steering wheel off and put everything back together. Alright, so let's torque this down to 22. Definitely need to lock. There we go. Now it's locked. Make sure you lock that beforehand. Alright. Alright, that's it. Check. The larger side. Yeah. So the longer side goes inside. And then you have your shorter stubby part on the outside. Alright, so like in the beginning of the video, you'll get 4 different wiring plugs. The ones that we'll be using for the S14 is this black one here. And this is for the horn, so you can still use your horn. So you still have a horn on your S14 there, so that's the spade connector for that. And then this guy is the SRS delete. So this is where a lot of people just kind of leave it and leave that light on. It doesn't matter which one you put in here, as long as you make sure they're secure. I'm probably going to put this in and tape it so they don't come loose, but as long as it makes a loop connection, you're good to go. Just put one in there and the other in the other one. There. And that's it. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna grab some electrical tape so I can tape this together and make it nice and clean in there, and then we'll put the whole thing back and our install should be done. Alright, so since there's space over here, I kind of just let that stick out there, and if you look, it's kind of hanging out from that side, which doesn't really matter because it'll be covered. And then this is going to be the ring. Again, long side goes towards the hub. Let's put this on, and that'll be nice and flush. So if you look, can't see that anymore. And then we'll go ahead and put the stoops. We'll go ahead and put the steering wheel on. And just to give you guys a little view from the side here, let's make sure not to forget to plug that back in. But yeah, it looks super clean. Let's get that column back on. Alright, so everything is back on. The steering column plastics are on. If you look how flush that is, that looks really nice. Still need to clean the wheel up a little bit, but that's it, boys. and girls. She's on and she looks good. Got the classic Nismo logo shift knob, and now I got the Nardi on there. I'd have to say that looks 10 times better, and the feel is also going to be a lot better as well. But yeah, now it's time to plug her in, and the real test is to see if the horn works, and also that we don't have that SRS airbag light. This goes this way. Alright, so let's see here. Let's see if the horn works. Yes, that's when you know you got something special, when you have an S chassis and your horn works. That's sweet. And then let's start her up. No SRS. Nice. Alright you guys, so that pretty much sums up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and maybe, hopefully, you guys got some information out of it. Like I said, I've installed energy hubs, I've installed eBay cheap hubs, and for the price you pay, it is a little more expensive, don't get me wrong, but the quality is there, the ease of installation when you have the right tools, it's there, and the fit and finish, I mean, you just can't beat it. But yeah, as always you guys, hopefully you enjoyed. Hit that like button, helps me out a lot, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Later.